YouTube live very often, but let's see how this goes. I am building this WIFA boot today, and I've got all the bits and pieces that I need, apart from the mounting screws. Where are the mounting screws? That's unhelpful, isn't it? Let's get a pack of mounting screws. I feel like I might need to go and get more from somewhere else. Okay. So far, just to catch you up with what I've done, I have drilled, so I've power tool number 1, yes, very satisfying. I've drilled the holes in the boot, I have drawn the centre line up, and what I usually do now, this is not what I always used to do, is I put like paper tape on the sole, and then I draw on the centre line, which as you can see looks like it's off centre, okay, compared to the stitching, and that's because this line sits between the second and third toe. It's in the centre of your foot, not the centre of the boot. Very important, otherwise you will end up unbalanced. What is not helpful is factory mounted skates will have this line, the centre of the plate, in line with the stitching or the centre of the boot. So because it's a more aesthetically pleasing look, so it just looks neater, but it's not correct. So I don't know how they get away with it. But anyway, I like this because the tongue is like whips open really far. So I've done that part, I've done the countersink part, and now I'm about to put in the bolts. So I'm using a sure grip plate today on this boot, so I'm actually going to make sure I use all sure grip bolts. The sure grip bolts I quite enjoy because they've got a slot in the end. The Rydell plates have actually got no slot in the end. Can't find it. They've got like a little square, and then there's a skinnier variety of heel bolt. This one's got a Phillips head, and this one's actually for metric plates. It's a little bit slimmer. You won't be able to probably see that here, but we're going to use the American made ones because we're putting an 8mm American plate on this boot. And if the hole feels a bit too tight, we are going to get a hammer. Ah, here it is. And what I do is I'm going to just use my screwdriver, sit it inside the screw, and then tap it in to place, which is extremely hard to show you on my phone. So I'm just going to have to take my word for it. But we're just going to tap it through. What is important is that you understand that the angle you've drilled your hole at, so when you tap it in, you're not trying to tap it in straight. Okay, can you see that's at a very slight angle? That's really important when you're putting plates on, because if you try and drill a hole straight, it's going to go into the lining of the boot. It's going to go straight up and into the lining, and then because the inside of this boot is leather, you'll end up putting damage, like scraping the leather of the inside of the boot, which is definitely not what you want. Yeah, so if you're wondering what I'm doing with a hammer, I am building a roller skate today. Very welcome to my channel. If you've not been here before, my name is Mel and I run a skate shop. I do also teach roller skating. I'm a coach, and I am blessed to be able to do this every day. Extremely grateful. Oh, that's not what I need though. Don't want to have to go to the back and get more out. Yeah, I'm going to have to. Okay, no I'm not. No I'm not. Found them. So I'm going to pop the toe ones in as well. Lovely. We want them to be fairly snug fit so that our plate is definitely not going to slip anywhere. Grand. And now all my screws are through. So I'm now going to just peel off the tape. Don't want that on anymore. That was just so that we draw on the tape, and then if we needed to reposition any of the lines on the boot, we can peel it off and go again. However, no need. I'm very happy with the plate position, and that's because I've done this a lot. I definitely was not this confident when I first started building roller skate plates, and in fact my very first pair that I built were mine, and it took me about 3 days because I was so anxious that I'd bought this brand new pair of skates, and I was like, I don't know what I'm doing here, I'm just going to try and work it out. And I did work it out, but I was so worried that I was going to get the holes in the wrong place, and I did get the holes in the wrong place. And I ended up having to do it again, So I am careful when I do other people's roller skates, but I'm certainly not as nervous as I used to be. Okay, so because the heel, can you see the heel bolts are at an angle like this rather than perfectly straight, they're a bit more challenging to get in. So I actually push one down and then we can hook the other one on before we tap it back through. Boom, boom, boom. Lovely stuff. Okay. It would help if I had the plate the right way round. It's like, why is this not fitting? It does fit. It fits. Okay. And then we've got one more to pop through. So I'm going to just hold these in place, anchor them in place with my mounting bolts. You can sit there. Lovely. So we pop a washer on, and then we pop on a mounting bolt. Good stuff. And that's just going to now hold the screws, the bolts in place while I get this last one into position. Right. It's wanting to sit in, not out, so we're going to give it a little love with a hammer. We will call this love. In you go. She does not want to sit straight. Okay, fine. So where this is happening, then it means I'm just going to have to go through again. The problem with the shore grip plates, if you want it to be a problem, is the hole, the plate is quite thick, and this is definitely true of any of the Avantis, or the Avenger. So they're pretty unforgiving about getting the holes lined up, and it just means might need a bit of tweaking. That's all right. We can tweak. It's like in terms of hole position. Right, there we go. So that's about right. Okay. So we want this one to be a bit wider. So we're going back in with our drill just to help it through. Lovely. And now, if I follow it through with my screwdriver, yeah, that's fine now. we want this one secured all the way through. Come on, babes. She's making it look so easy, I know. We're there. We are through. Okay. And now I can put my washer on and my mounting bolt on. There we go, there we go. And then with our T-tool, just a regular T-tool, we use the bottom of it to tighten up all these nuts. I should be able to get that last one through. Like I say, it's just the angle of them that sometimes need a bit of help. The nylon plates though, this is a Sure Grip rock plate. The nylon plates are pretty forgiving. So if you need to give it a hand with a bit of bonus drilling, it's completely fine. It won't harm the plate. It won't affect the quality of the mount or the integrity or anything like that. So that's just tapping that last one through. Oh, it does not want to come through though. There we go. Little push. So you can see if it's lined up or not. And some plates have a slot rather than just a tiny hole, like a 5mm hole. They've got a slot instead, which doesn't necessarily make it any easier. If you've got the hole in the wrong place, you're gonna have to go back in with a drill. What I would say is it's worth lining up your 3 before you go back in. So I'm just gonna hold this. Just got my slotted screwdriver. Hold that still, and then we'll screw that in place. No, I want you to hold still. There we go. So if you're not careful, you will denature the threads as you're whacking your screw through the plate. And this is why I don't normally build skates live, because if stuff goes wrong on a live, you're a bit like sweating and panicking and stuff. But I actually thought this might be useful for somebody if they're building their own skates, or they're out somewhere and they come across something and you're like, oh my goodness, I don't know what I've done. I will say that every possible mistake that you can think of making, I have made with roller skate boots. Okay, and that is how we come to the processes that we have. For example, I absolutely have lined up the plates incorrectly. When you're finding the center line, I used to do it with a measuring tape, and it works fine, but having a center line marking tool definitely makes life a wee bit easier. Now when I'm screwing these down, I'm just trying to go as far as I can on every screw, because I want, with a nylon plate, you want the cuts to be even, and if I don't screw them down the same amount with each bolt, there's a danger that the plate will sit slightly lopsided and you'll get the trucks then that don't sit fully flush. So making sure, I'm not being as pedantic as counting every turn, but I am trying to make sure that I've got the same amount of thread showing on the toe bolts and on the heel bolts. Now you can see at the moment these are much too long, and that's because they're not made to fit a specific boot and plate. The mounting bolts are short or long, and you then make them fit the boot and plate, so you have to cut them to fit. So we get to use another power tool, but not yet. Right now I'm just going to sort out the other boot. So I've got 2 more. Nope. I was going to say I've got 2 more bolts to go through. when you're doing little jobs, I don't know if you sing to yourself, but I sometimes find that I do just have a little bit of a sing-song to myself, just how it goes every now and again. There we go, lovely. And then the heel bolts. So again, we're just going to clear that hole out. I actually think I'm going to go in with a 5.5 because I want that hole just a wee bit more generous than she currently is. So my 5.5 bit is just a wee bit longer, and the only reason I'm doing this, maybe that one actually, is because I can feel that I've hit a screw as I've gone through the boot, and this is why WIFA skates, they are very durable, they're very light, but drilling into them, there are so many little bolts and screws in the heel part holding all of this together that as you go through them, it's quite likely that you're going to hit one, and I have. You know, it's fine. You just want to be really thorough about like clearing out the debris in the hole. It's a horrible noise, isn't it? I'm just watching me struggle trying to get this drill bit through the hole. Okay, I'm not enjoying that one tiny bit, so let's get rid of that one. Also, you know, when you swap your drill bits out, you be a bit careful because they get hot. But yeah, I just want to make this heel hole a teeny bit bigger because I've hit a screw on the inside, and I know from experience that if I then try and put this mounting screw through the hole and it gets scraped, it's going to mess the entire screw threads and I'll have to replace it. Not fun. So okay, let's go. So this boot is now prepped. The heel bolts, when you're putting them in, alrighty, when you're putting them in, they will end up looking kind of like this and not fully straight, because if you do them straight, where you drill from the outside in, it's not like an ice boot where you rivet it on from the inside out. You're putting it this way. Okay, so we're putting this from the outside in, and you can see it's a slightly funny angle, but it's okay. We're going to correct that in the mounting process. I am building a pair of roller skates right now. Yes, indeed. So this one, I'm just going to tap this screw through with my trusty hammer. Great. It's a very low-fi solution, low-tech solution, but you know, it works. So I had some tape on the heel, and that's so that I don't draw on the heel. The heel of these WIFA roller skate boots is really soft and it will mark really easily, so I just use some paper tape so that if you make any mistakes or anything like that, you can peel it off and redo it. Thanks very much. Okay, I'm also using this Sure Grip rock plate, and when we pop it on, we're going to put ideally heel bolts first and then toe bolts, but on the last boot I did a little adjustment. So this is the satisfying moment that I really enjoy, when you push it on and all the holes are just lined up beautifully. Then we're going to hold it in place with a washer and a mounting bolt so that I can the plate's not going to drop off, and I can make sure that I'm happy with it. Essentially, even if someone, which they do, pays me to build their roller skate boot for them, and if I'm not in the right frame of mind, I actually won't do it because it will affect the quality of the work that I produce, and it means it will affect the quality of their roller skate, and I definitely don't want that. So I want to make sure that I am calm, that I'm not being interrupted by people walking in, and so on and so on, and actually that I'm happy with the work that I produce. And that's because I have learned that I did used to rush, and it's not worth it. It means somebody's going to end up getting a pair of skates that is not my best work, and I do not want that. So I would actually now prefer to make a customer weight than build a pair of roller skates that I don't think are my best work. Sorry, I'm making a load of noise, but I'm just looking for my last mounting bolt. So this last one, she's not quite popped through, so we're just going to use our trusty hammer and coax it through. She will go through. See? Trust the process with a hammer. And again, I have done this so many times before that it sounds really violent when you're whacking skates with power tools, and it's not for the faint-hearted, and that's why I generally don't like people watching when I'm building roller skates. But I've got to a point of feeling quite confident about it now that I'm happy to sit on a live. I still don't know how I'd feel if someone was here in person, but because I can't see you, I can deal with that. So this is just my T-tool, and I'm just using the smallest end, which fits on this mounting bolt very nicely, to tighten everything down, because at the moment on the inside we've got the screw head, this part, which is sticking up inside the boot, and if I leave it as it is, one, this is not fully tightened down, and two, that screw head is going to sit in the foot of the person who's going to wear the roller skate. Very uncomfortable. It's like having a stone in your shoe all of the time. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. So we're just going to tighten all of these down nice and tight, and then our next job is we get more power tools and we cut off the bolts, and ideally we want to do one cut on each bolt. However, sometimes we have to do two cuts. It depends on the size of the plate. The Sure Grip plate is a little bit thicker, so we should be able to get away with a single cut, which would be delightful. I would really enjoy that, because two cuts, it's just more chopping, isn't it? And it's more potential damage to a plate, which is always the concern. So I'm going to keep going. So I've got my hand inside the boot, and what I'm doing is I've got my finger on top of this bolt, not pushing it in. I'm just feeling when it's level with the inside of the boot. I can't show you because the camera's just not good enough, but that's what's happening here. So if you're looking to build roller skates, then make sure that you can feel that the top of the screw head is flush with the rest of the boot, or ideally a little bit recessed. What can happen over time is screws can work their way loose and it'll work its way back up into someone's foot. Not ideal. Okay, so final check that we're going to do is we're going to make sure, I'm not happy with the toe ones of those, I'll do a little bit more tightening there, but we're going to just make sure that we've got about the same amount of thread showing in all of our screws that are showing, and that we're happy with the position of the plate, which we are. So I will show you in a minute what I'm looking for. Okay, it's going to look like it's not in the centre to you, but it is in the centre. What I'm looking at is, this is the backstay, okay, this piece of leather or suede on the back, and I want to make sure that the back of the centre of the plate is in line with the backstay, which it is. And then I'm making sure that the front, the toe part, is very slightly off center. So even though I had a centerline marking tool, which looks like this is, I would say it's an art, not a science. There is science involved, and the centerline definitely has science involved, but it's getting a feel for where this plate should sit and looks correct, because it never looks correct, and you kind of have to twist your brain a bit. But I must have done hundreds of pairs of roller skates now over the last 10 years, starting with my own. And the first time I built my own roller skates, it literally took me 3 days, because I was so worried about putting the holes in the wrong place that I measured, drew the holes, peeled the tape off, did it again. In fact, I didn't use tape, I just drew on the boot. I did it, I was not happy with it. I then went to put the plate on, found that the holes were in the wrong place. Yeah, it's like a whole massive learning curve. And at the time, it was the most expensive boot I'd ever owned. It was a Moxie Jack 1, and yeah, it was horrific, but I was really determined to do it myself. Some might say stubborn. Anyway, so I'm happy with this. I'm looking at every part of the plate position to make sure that it's the same on both sides, that we've got a symmetrical one, and I want to do those checks before I trim them. Now, when I do my plate mounts, I'm happy to have a 1mm difference between the position of the plate, 1mm. When I started, I was happy with 3, but over time, obviously, thankfully my craft has improved. So now it's a 1mm difference. Right, I'm ready to go to my next stage. So in order to do that, I just need to have a little tidy up here, and then I will have room. So I've now finished with my drill. I've finished with the mounting bolts. Those kingpins I do not need anymore. I don't need those. I've finished with the hammer. I've finished with my countersink tool. If you've not been here for very long, I've already used all of these. They are done. Okay. And next we need the fire tool. Yay! Yes, maybe I should not enjoy knives and fire, but that's what we're going to enjoy today. So we'll just plug her in here. And this is why our shop is made of fairly unfinished wood, because we're not super precious about it. So I'm going to put you here so you can see a bit better what is going on. Cool. And I've got my wheels ready to go on, so I'll just put them at the front of my desk. Have a little sip of water. We've got to stay hydrated, folks. Where are you joining me from today? I'm just nosy and interested to know. Let me know. Where are you based? Okay, so we're going to use some protective cardboard. Hopefully this is too thick. I have no choice. Oh no, I'm going to use that piece. Okay, so we're going to use a piece of cardboard to protect the boots. Also going to use an old tea towel, which is just going to protect the boot on the surface. And particularly if you're using light coloured suede, I would definitely recommend that you kind of cover the boot as much as possible. This piece of card is going to go between the bolt and the plate, and I would say it's essential if you're cutting onto a metal plate. For example, this one, beautiful, beautiful plate, but this one will absolutely scratch and mark up really, really easily. So really be happy to take your time. This is not a process you want to rush. Okay? This is something that I'm building with love, care and joy for somebody else. Last thing, protect the eyes. So let's have our very funky glosses. And we need our bolt breaking tool, and I'll show you why in a moment. So here, so we've got our electric rotary cutter. Sparks are going to fly. If fire is something you don't like, look away now. Okay, so I've gone just over halfway through, and I'm going to use my bolt cutter. We'll just pop that on, give it a little twist, and it will pop straight off. Lovely. Repeat. Now it's left a bit of a sharp edge. I'll show you the close-up in a minute, but don't forget our cardboard. We need to make sure that the boot isn't going to rock about, because that is not helpful for getting a straight line, and we need to allow for the fact that the rotary cutter will cut closer than you think it will. So leave a couple of threads, don't go right up to the mounting bolt. Accidentally went all the way through. That's because it's a new blade. Just be careful of the bolts, because when you chop them off they are hot, which is, you know, not that enjoyable when you burn yourself on one. Done that before. Done. Okay, and again, you do a little cut and a twist. I'd say this is probably the most exciting part. So at the point where I had like 12 people live, you probably missed the most exciting part. Okay, so that's one skate done. It's done, but it's not yet finished. Alabama. Oh, and Scotland. Okay. Kimberly Smith is from Boring. Sweet. I like my mounting bolts to be the same length, just as a quality control aesthetic. It looks neater and it's finished. I feel the finish is better. So currently I've cut this one shorter than this one. It's fine. It needs a couple more twists because I can still feel the screw head on the inside, so we need to twist it through. What we can't do is pull this one through really tightly to match that one without pulling that one through the same, because then the plate will sit slightly lopsided. It needs even tension. So if we're doing more than a couple of turns, it's going to need cutting again. Not ideal. Okay, but that is going to be fine. Right, that's ready for the last stage. So I'm now just going to trim the bolts on the other boot. And I'm just hoping that at some point this will help someone else who's trying to build a pair of boots somewhere and they don't have access to, I don't know what. There's no skate building qualification. This is all learned. processes to this. I think people don't actually realise how many processes there are. And that's okay. Not expecting people to understand or know. This is my choice to do what I do. It's all good and I love it. Very lucky. And last two. One. It's like picking off one of those ring pulls. So let's just check the bolts on the inside that we're happy with those. Let's look through far enough. There we go, that's better. And the other side. Yep, feel quite happy about those. So I'm just going to check that everything looks more even. See, I've got one that's like 4 or 5 threads turned through that's visible, and the other side is only 3. It's going to annoy me. Now actually it's perfectly fine and I can let it go out, but it's just annoying. So this one, this back one here, it's probably going to be really hard to focus on that, but there's actually quite a sharp bit of bolt on here, and maybe you can see that it's not even, and so the bolt head isn't smooth. If I leave that like that, it's going to cut somebody potentially, so we need to do something with this. Oh, that's so awesome. Thanks, Amanda. Appreciate your comment. I've been skating now for a bit over 15 years, and do I want this anymore? I taught myself to build skates because I'm stubborn, and I think that's really fair to say. I am stubborn, independent, stubborn, don't like accepting help, that whole Gen X thing. However, it's turned out okay for me because now I have a business, which is pretty cool. So over at the Skate Sanctuary, I'm always happy to help people, yap about skates, ask me questions, talk about plates, talk about the position of plates, and so on and so on. I am just going to have to cut that a bit shorter because it is annoying me. So I can't let it go out like that. It's like a tiny thing as well, but it will irritate me. It's the smallest sliver of metal that's come off. Right, I know it's tiny, but it also, for me it's worth it, right? That just extra 2 minutes. So then I've got this one, so this is a different rotary cutter. I've got a second one, just because this is a sanding tool, and I'm going to take off these sharp edges. Because we don't want anyone cutting themselves, do we? How do I know about this? Because I've cut myself on a mounting bolt, on a pair of roller skates, and they were factory bought ones. They'd obviously just missed a quality control moment. Yeah, not impressed. Cool. Right, I'm happy with that. So next step, there's loads of little iron filings and bits and pieces on here. So I'm going to get my favourite tool, which is a paintbrush. So it's a clean paintbrush, and I'm going to just dust off all of the filings. Paintbrushes are really great for all sorts of different things, like the suede and the nubuck and cleaning those up, but also cleaning wheels. Just don't use the same paintbrush on your wheels that you've just used, like on suede that you've just used on wheels. Not advisable. Okay, so my screw heads do not feel sharp anymore. They look fairly even. I'm happy with those. I'm going to now tidy away my rotary cutter. I do try and keep a tidy workspace because it cluttered mind, right? So the final assembly part of putting the skate together is really relatively straightforward. This part, fine. So now I need all the other pieces. I've actually left on my cushion cap and bottom cushion. I've got my trucks here. Let's get those out. No. Okay, sorry, it was heading off the front of the desk. And I did not have to want to walk all the way around. Right, so there we go. I'm going to unwrap our little trucks. We'll pop our truck in. Pivot arm goes in the pivot cup, which on the rock plate is already in place. Just needs a very firm push. And then we're going to get our cushion cap and our top cushion. That's going to go on the top. And we get our kingpin nut. On it goes. And then we repeat another number of times. And she goes. Cushion and cushion cap. So this part is something that more skaters would actually need to do, because you might find that you need to change your cushions at some point, that the cushions might split. I've had a truck split, which was pretty terrifying. It was quite old and I just suddenly felt it go really wobbly under me. And it was in the skate park, so yeah, that day the skating ended there. Thankfully, it was quite an affordable truck to replace. There we go. So we're going to screw that down, and the same with the front one. So this boot is actually going to somebody that I don't know. I mean, not that I know every customer that we have, but we usually have our customers will tell us, they will like be in consultation for quite a long time. Like, I'm looking for this. Can the Skate Sanctuary, can Mel, can Emily, can the team help me out with what I'm looking to do? I want to do this with my roller skating, and I'm looking to have a setup, a boot that will support me with those goals so that I can move on with my roller skating. So you can see now we're looking more like a roller skate. What's your comment? Considering grinding down your mounting bolts. Yes. You can, obviously it's a one-way thing, right? So if you cut them down, is it because you're trying to put a wide truck on and they're too tall? Oh no, it's because of your wheels. 66mm outdoor wheels. That's quite a big wheel, right? Because most outdoor wheels might be 65. So I would be surprised if the kingpins are on the floor. Like, the best thing that I would say is I need to understand better what it is that you're trying to achieve. I don't know that I can help you the best here. I will try, always, but I'm better with pictures. So you can always WhatsApp the shop. Our shop phone number is 07479 430 404. If you can't find it, Google us and you will find it. And yeah, WhatsApp us the pictures and I can maybe make suggestions. But yeah, if you cut them down and you decide you want to replace them, it's a bit faffy. Like, it's possible, but I have done it with people on their like sunlight plates, other plates as well. Normally when it's a small wheel though, I would, do you mean 56mm wheel rather than 66? I'm just wondering if it's a typo. Okay, got you. Oh, okay, they are big wheels. If it's this bolt, is this the one you're talking about grinding down, not the kingpin? Is it the back mounting bolt? Often on factory built skates, these rear bolts can really stick out quite far. That is quite common, and we have like trimmed them before for people. That's fine. There's usually quite a lot of bolts showing, and you can see with the ones that I've got, there's only a few threads. It can make people feel really nervous. They're like, oh, what if it drops out? What if the mounting bolt falls off? In my experience, they don't. I think I've literally built hundreds of pairs of skates now, and I've, touch wood, I've not had one fall off. Yeah. Okay, yeah. So if it's a mounting bolt, yes, you're fine to give that a bit of a trim, because yes, as you say, when you switch for softer cushions, now you've got more lateral motion with your truck, right? So your truck can do this more easily, which means your wheels will be at an angle that's going to hit this bolt more easily. And yes, the softer cushion makes it easier to turn, but that's the payoff, is that yes, you're going to get the wheel bite. So if you trim it so that that is no longer an issue, that's perfectly fine. Obviously, if you got them secondhand, no problem, because there's no warranty anyway, so it's fine. Should you make an absolute hash of it, buying a new mounting kit like the new screws, very affordable. Okay, so in the worst case scenario for you, if you had to like replace these bolts altogether, like fully take them apart, you're like, no, I cut them too short. I think a mounting kit for us is like £4.50 for all of the bolts that you need, so it's absolutely fine. Ooh. I mean, to me, also smaller wheels, but it depends what you're enjoying and what you're trying to do. I'm just mentioning we have a wheel offer on right now. Luminous wheels, free Rio bearings in them, 62mm wheel. Could be a smaller one, could be 58mm if you want a really small one, just for a very different experience. But you know, lighter wheels, so much fun. Anyway, be safe in the dark is all I'm saying. This time of year when it's dark, so not fun. Right, so I'm making sure that I'm tightening up my bolts, the kingpin bolts the same, and what I usually do is put more turns on the heel, so I want whoever's going to have this to have more stability in the heel. And because I have got no knowledge about who I'm sending this to, because as I say, I normally do a consultation, we chat on like WhatsApp, on phone messages, we do video consultations. Even if we're sending skates to people who are not local, we will still like, they will send them the skates, they'll have the video consultation, and so we kind of get to know people before we build them their roller skates. So this was a real surprise for me that the order came through, and I was like, someone's ordered. This is our signature skate. I'm really glad it helps. This is called the Black Diamond. I just thought it sounded cool. Why not? And all the parts are black. So it's a package, and these are the parts that are in it. So I'm just gonna put these bits away. Okay, so with this one, because this is a UK 9.5, yeah, UK 9.5, this is a deluxe model because this doesn't come in a street suede, a WIFA street suede. I've put a rock plate on it because that is what I had, so they've accidentally got an upgraded plate, lucky them. And these are I've got the toe stop hook, and there we go. It's just handy having all the tools. So I've got my Powerdyne toe stop, and with this we put the nut on first, and then the thread should be a little bit greasy because that's going to stop it from sticking in the housing. And we put it a fair way down, and then we put the cup on, and it's going to be cup side up, right? It's concave. That goes into the toe stop housing, and as I say, we want a good half of the thread. Oh yeah, it's bonfire night soon. We want a good half of the thread tucked into the housing, so it's, I'm going to set it a little bit higher. There we go. And then once we're happy with its distance, we're going to use our Y3 tool and really lock it in tight. So it's righty tighty, lefty loosey, and now I can't turn it with my hand. Happy about that. So let's do the other one. And there's usually just a little bit of grease and very DIY, just a bit of cling film over the end of it, and then when you twist the nut on, that just spreads out that grease a little bit. So try to not get your fingers in it as you're installing the toe stop, especially if you're working with suede, and a light coloured suede at that, not ideal. How many turns have I got showing there? There we go. So with this skate, everything on it is black. Yep, lovely. And the last black things that we've got here are the wheels and the bearings. So I've got Roller Bones bearings, which have got a black shield, and the black Sonar Zen wheels. And these are a medium hybrid wheel. Definitely on slightly the softer side, but it means that this person will be able to kind of go do all of the skating, because I don't know what kind of skating they want to do, so they get to choose. Right, let's get our I don't know where I've put the axle nuts, so I'm just borrowing them out of another bag of stuff, but it's fine. Comes and goes. I'm nearly there. Nearly there. Here we go. What's your question? What skate is it? This is WIFA Deluxe. It's a really, really nice boot. We sell a lot of these, and especially because we're in the UK, this is the one and only time we get a bit of a smug face, I feel, because the Americans have kind of got the monopoly on roller skates, and for good reason, you know. I think they've been doing it for longer. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, okay, one more. There we go. So, but this boot is lovely. It's really light. It's a wooden heel, and they're just a nice fit. The entry level model is called the Street Suede. So this is the middle model. It's called the Deluxe, and it's just slightly thicker, and it's more of a kind of matte finish. It's a nubuck finish, not leather. You can get leather, but it's harder to break in. Okay. Yeah. So this, I will show the whole package. All together, we've called it the Black Diamond. Just, I thought it sounded cool. The actual boot is called WIFA, and then there's the plate, there's the wheels. So the kind of the complete package is, we've called it Black Diamond. When our company was called Roller Girl Gang, it was the RGG Black Diamond. We are now the Skate Sanctuary. We had a rebrand because it felt right for the space. So, and it's also now painted on the wall in very large letters. So yeah, Black Diamond is what we've called it. WIFA, pronounced WIFA, Austrian company. I'm looking for the box. So we have a lot of these in stock. We tend to order from them monthly, but we order more regularly if needed. WIFA. And the last thing that I need to do is I'm going to install these little heel pads on the inside. It's just a little bit more cushioning on the inside, and they've got this sticky thing which my nails do not like peeling off. Come on, there we go. Let's coax it off. So that sits on the inside over the screws, and then we pop in the inner sole. So yeah, if you're looking for WIFA, as I say, Austrian company, the sizing is very generous and pretty impressive for a company offering this quality of boot, is that they do half sizes. And honestly, I'm pretty impressed, because the same in Rydell or Sure Grip, you have to be, I mean, Sure Grip don't really do custom in the same way that Rydell do, but you have to be going pretty far up the chain with a Rydell boot to be getting half sizes. And WIFA do them in a lot of their models. The only thing is, if you are above a UK size 8, you have to go to the deluxe. So this goes up to a 12, I believe, but some of the sizes they don't keep in stock and may take longer to manufacture, but everything is made in Vienna, which I think is really cool. But in this boot, it might be difficult to show you. There's quite a lot of padding on the inside, and you can see around the ankle there's loads of shaping here, and I think it's really difficult to tell from the outside of a boot how it's going to feel. In fact, almost impossible, because everything, especially heeled boots, it's like, this is a boot with a heel and some wheels. Here's another boot with a heel and some wheels. And really, we always say to people, the best way to understand how the boot fits is to put it on your foot. But of course, if you are remote from us, we are based in Leeds, but if you are not nearby to us, then you're like, I can't be trekking down to Leeds. Now, you can. And we've had people come from all over the place. We've had them come from as far as Cornwall. We have had people come from Scotland. However, we also do distance fitting, where essentially, yes, you are buying the boot, but if you tell us that's what you want, we can send you a boot, we can send you a label so that you can try stuff on at home. We can do like a video call with you so that you know how it should fit and all that kind of stuff, or you can just try it on in the comfort of your own home, and then you'll know if it's right or not before you send it back, and then you feel really confident, because this boot is a stock boot, as in we offer it for sale as a package. There is a lot less risk if you order this than if you order the coloured parts and go, I want that colour boot with that plate with these wheels. If we build that for you, which we would call a custom package, and the size is wrong, we're a bit like, yeah, but we ordered that specific boot for you. So peeps, we're a small business. There's hardly anyone, I mean today there's only me here, but there's hardly anyone here, so there's not a lot we can do. You're either going to have to stretch it out, or I don't know what, but it's custom. It's like up to you to make sure that the size is right with a custom boot. This one, if this person received it, I mean, I hope it's right for them, because you've seen how long it's taken me to build it. But if they decided that it didn't fit them, they could send it back, and that's within our terms and conditions, because we've listed this as a complete skate package, if that makes sense. If you're still not sure about the difference, then bob us a question through before you order something. That would be the way to do it. But it's very common for really high quality roller skates to cost quite a few £100, quite a few. So we do have payment plans, we have a pay later facility like partner, because it's pricey. And we also do stuff like we'll take a deposit, so we can hold a boot for you, or, you know, if it's being made and it takes a bit of time to order stuff in. Sometimes it just, people need like a couple of months, so take a deposit, we'll get the stuff ordered for you, you pay the balance off, we build it all, we ship it out to you. And it might take a month depending what you want. It might take 6 weeks. If you want like a custom thing with a really fancy boot, it could take a lot longer. But if you've not been skating that long, nah, you won't need something with crazy customs in that way. That's often people who might have been skating like 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. So people who, like, they've made skating their life, I guess, their life's hobby, and they do a lot of travelling, and, you know, it's all fine. Or their partner has a road bike addiction. We also get the people, they're like, well, they spend a lot of money on road bikes, so I'm going to get myself some really nice skates. This skate package, though, just to give you a sense, because it's got the upgraded boot, the deluxe boot costs a little bit more than the suede one. So this one is like just under 400. It's like 380 or something like that. The boot that's below is more like, this whole package is 350, I think, 349, something like that. So the actual boot on its own, this boot is I think it's on the thing behind me, $234.99 for this model, the deluxe, and the street suede model is just under 200. So it's about 35-ish quid difference, maybe 40 quid difference. Right, yes, WIFA. Is it a narrow or standard size toe box? Good question. Standard, medium width. However, the street suede is a very forgiving boot, and a lot of people have come in and said, I've got wide feet, Mel. Honestly, the stuff people tell me about their feet is unbelievable. People can be so awful about their own bodies. Please be kind to your body. Like, it holds you up, it takes you skating, it does all the good things. So just know, your feet are perfect. We just need to find the right boot for you, not the other way around. We're not trying to squeeze your foot into the wrong boot. Anyway, minor rant over. Yeah, we have had plenty of people in who've got self-proclaimed wide feet, and in something like a stiff vinyl boot, let's say a Rookie Artistic or a Moxie Beach Bunny or something like that, they are very, very uncomfortable, or have to go 2 sizes up or even 3 sizes up for it to feel comfortable. Or maybe they've got like issues with their feet, in that they've got a collapsed arch, or they've got bunions, or whatever it is. Anyway, they have had WIFA Street Suede, so the model down from this one, but it does only go up to a size UK 8. And they were like, that's never going to fit me, I'm not going to be able to wear my regular size. And then we go, let's just try it on and see. You might not, you might be right. And then they're like, oh, it does fit. So what we found is the lacing will really affect the width. So when my final lacing, I always pull through and then match the ends. The WIFA laces are very, very long. Okay, so it's not right. Pull this down. There we go. And the dye does transfer a little bit as well. Okay, so that's something just to be aware of, that in the WIFA dyeing process, compared to Rydell, who do offer a more costly boot in the Moxie, or any of the Rydell suede colours, the dye does not transfer at all from those products, because the dyeing process is different. I don't know what the dyeing process is, but it does not transfer. On the WIFA skates, it does a little bit. Now, I believe you could seal it in. You just get a suede protector and seal it in. That's up to you. We are not going to do that finishing for you, because that would be adding something that isn't part of what you necessarily are expecting. But because the WIFA boots come with these bright white laces, you can really notice that the dye does transfer. But also when I'm lacing up, I go over and down. And there are ways when you're breaking them in of missing out a hole, because there are quite a lot of holes with the WIFA boots compared to others. And then the other thing is this heel pad, this little feature, which is totally like a little cheek, it's cute, is something that I really wasn't sure about at the very beginning. When you see it and you're like, I don't know how I feel about that. I've grown to love it, but also it's the little feature that marks out these boots as being WIFA boots without having to see a brand name. You know straight away that it hasn't been copied, but it has got a function, and its function is to stop the boot here from creasing and wrinkling, because that does shorten the life of the boot. So by putting the padding on the outside and stitching it in place, there's like a little bit more padding there. It does add some more ankle protection, and it does also support the stiffness of the boot in the ankle and just provides a little bit of extra ankle support, because essentially your boot is always going to be breaking down throughout its life. It's going from very stiff when you first get it to like whatever its half-life is, where it becomes supremely comfortable and you're like, yes, this is perfect. And then finally, as you progress and the boot breaks down more, you will reach a stage where you're like, I've outgrown the stiffness of this boot. It's now not supportive in the way that I want it to. But the point of buying higher quality products is that, for example, when this boot breaks down, which for our average user who's skating recreationally, which includes skate park, a skate park user, depending how often they're going, will break the boot down faster because the falls that they have and the scuffs and the skids are greater. But if someone is going to roller discos or practicing a couple of times a week and doing a bit of dance, bit of outdoor skating perhaps, I would expect a boot like this to last them a good 5 years, probably longer. However, at the point where they're like, okay, I want to upgrade the wheels, you can, because the plate will allow for that. At the point where you want to upgrade a toe stop or something else, you can. And even if this person decided, which I have had plenty of people do, they want to upgrade the plate, they're like, I think I want a metal plate, I want to understand the difference, I want something a bit different. You can send us the boot back, we will take that plate off and put the metal one on for you, and you can have a plate upgrade. So you can do the upgrading part very gradually, but when you start with a really good quality boot, you've got those options. I think I would not recommend the same on most vinyl boots unless it was like a high level vinyl boot, like the vegan Jack 2 or something like that. What are you questioning? Oh yeah, it's good. Okay. I lace over because I like the way it looks, but also it seems to lock in place better over and down. And I'll show you when you go up to the hooks as well, we go over and down because it locks in place better than under and up. You get more slippage that way. That is the technical term, slippage. You're welcome. I think I actually learnt that from Kim Manning's Space Queen on Instagram, and she is an artistic roller skater with decades of experience. Like, I've been skating now for about 15 years, and her experience like literally dwarfs mine. And she's also in California and has very different access to roller skating, went into it, trained as a child, went through competitive artistic roller skating, and is just like an all-round great friendly human. But let me show you what I mean. So when you get to the top, and I know I've missed a couple of holes, but for the sake of this I'm going to miss a couple of holes, we go across, and then a lot of people go under the hook and up and then go back across. What we now do is we go above the hook and down. Okay, above the hook and down. And then we go across the other way. We do it again, above the hook and down, above the hook and down. Okay, and what this does, apart from create a very pretty crisscross pattern, is that the added, it's pulling on here so it won't slip off, right? So this means that all of this is designed to hold the tongue in place a little bit more, and then it's not going to slip around as much, and you'll have a more comfortable skate session. That's the intention of that. Yeah, good stuff. I'm always glad that it is useful. And you know what, even though we are live on YouTube, you feel free to leave us a Google review if you found that useful, because as a not-for-profit company, it all helps people discover where we're at. So anyway, just going to leave that out there, or something. Share this video with people if you think it's useful. So my black diamond roller skates are now done. Let's be slightly clear about this. The boot on its own, this is the suede model. I don't know if you can see, there's a slight difference in the depth of colour, but this is suede, this is nubuck. Okay, so the boot itself is incredibly light. It's a great boot, and on the suede model there's no writing on the back, but otherwise the lining, everything's the same. It just feels slightly more pliable because this suede material is 1 millimeter thinner than the nubuck, so this has got slightly more stiffness. There is a super stiff model called the Extreme, which has got additional support in the sides. It's all hidden and it's on the inside, but it's called a counter, and it sits around the ankle and under the heel, and it's designed to hold your ankle really still, so if you're landing big jumps, boom, then your ankle isn't going to twist over, pronate or the other way, or cave in, and you won't injure yourself, or it's less likely you'll injure yourself. Of course, still build those strong ankles over time. What time is it? 4 o'clock? 4 o'clock. Right, I'm going to have to pack these up and get to the post office. But anyway, it's been lovely to chat to you today. So yeah, the street suede, it comes in a load of colours, but we wanted to try and take away some of that indecision or like the procrastination part, because it's really difficult when you're thinking about like, oh, I think I want my own skate build. You know, usually people come to us when they're thinking about this type of thing, WIFA, after they've been skating maybe a year, 18 months. It can be shorter, it can be longer, but they've decided that they want a decent pair of skates that's going to see them for a longer term and that they can customize as they go along. We chose all black parts, 1, to keep the cost down, 2, so that you don't have to make all of the decisions, because we've taken that away. You've got the decisions made for you, and we know all of the parts are really solid. The Skate Sanctuary, we have refused sponsorship over the years because we will not be bought. We are fully independent, and everything that we have in the shop, one of the team, mostly me, but one of the team has basically tried and tested, and we understand how the product breaks down over time. We understand how you can use it. We go back to products that we've stocked for a long time, and if I haven't tested it personally or a member of the team, then it's only a very trusted person who's like known personally to one of us that we're like, yeah, okay, we'll have that. It's very, very rare we will offer something that we haven't specifically tried and tested ourselves. This is my WIFA that I've been testing out. This is street suede model. I was very much like, I'm just going to test it out, send me a colour that is going out of, like, it's a discontinued colour. I was like, I don't care about the colour, just send me a boot. And then I paired it with an Avenger plate because I like roller dance more than anything. I'm a card carrying member of the Awkward Dance Club, Awkward Dancers Unite, If you've seen any of my other content on YouTube, I'm probably flailing around like some sort of air dancer that you see at a car wash. That's my style of dancing, because I generally do not really care what I look like anymore. It's not important to me. So the flailing is what it is, and if it helps me feel good, it helps me manage my mental health and my physical well-being, then go for it. Like, why should the fear of judgment stop us? But anyway, so yeah, I've got a shorter plate, an Avenger, which I really enjoy for dancing. The plate is quite heavy, but the boot is light, so together they kind of balance out quite nicely. But people are often surprised at how heavy metal plates actually can be. The exception to that is actually the Pilot Falcon plate, and we're about to get our first shipment, hurrah, from new stockist, and there is now a green and a royal blue, and I cannot tell you how excited I am for those colours. And I know I constantly say to people, do not choose your parts based on the colour of the part. Everyone chooses their parts based on the colour of the part, literally everyone. Yeah, but I would always say function over the colour, function over the aesthetic, but of course you absolutely can have both. You can, okay? So the black diamond package is this complete thing, and we do it for a fixed price because it's the whole thing. But yeah, we were the first people to stock WIFA in the UK. So we've got a really good relationship with them and with all of our suppliers, and we won't carry on working with other small businesses. They are usually all small businesses. Even if they're turning over like a lot of money, they're still a small business. But we don't work with them if they're not nice to work with, and we don't agree with their like morals and ethics, because I think that's really important, and it's something that people might not have thought about. Where are the skates coming from? How do they build them? What resources do they use? But I think the only way that we can keep looking after our planet is to stop this overconsumption madness, because it is. Buy quality stuff. Yes, it costs more money in the first place. I totally understand that, and not everyone has that situation of privilege, if you like, but because it is a privilege to be able to afford a really nice pair of roller skates. There are loads of things on Vinted. I know it's hard because we don't know that we're buying the right size or what it is, so be very careful on Vinted. Like, some stuff is a bargain, but you won't know. If you don't know what you're buying, you don't know what you're buying. But yeah, if you can buy high quality stuff, it will last you, and it will outlast all the trash, and it will also perform so much better. I cannot tell you how many times people come in with very, very cheapo skates that they've bought in the like mass, like Sports Direct or Decathlon. Like, I think the Decathlon ones are bad, but they're not as bad as the Sports Direct ones. The truck, this part is plastic. The whole plate is thin plastic. This is nylon. It's reinforced. It's much stronger. It's designed for roller skating. We might think that those are designed for roller skating, but there's so much flex in them, you are going to get a poor experience. The wheels are very plasticky, and you can hear the difference, because when someone skates on, we've got just a laminate floor, but when someone skates around on this floor and they're in a plastic wheel, it's like, and it's so slippery. I just feel horrible for them, because we're like, they don't have very much experience. They've got these super shiny skates, and we're like, do you know what? If you don't know, you don't know. I'm not here to shame anybody. Definitely not. And at the beginning, buy whatever brings you joy. If you look at it and you're like, oh my God, this shiny thing speaks to my inner child, and I want that. And if that is going to get you started in roller skating, then flipping well get that thing and get started and have a great time. And I do not care on the brand at all, whether we stock it or not. Like, we don't stock a lot of stuff because we're picky, and it doesn't perform well. But at the very beginning, when you have zero experience and you do not know what you're buying, buy anything, because getting started is the hardest thing. So you need to have something that you're like, oh, I want to put this on. I'm motivated to put this on, because you know you're going to fall over, right? Oh no. No. Let that lesson be a thing. I'm so sorry that you broke your toe, but I'm also very impressed that you're still skating. That's amazing. Amazing, amazing. But just get started, because literally the getting started is the hardest thing. Like anything, putting the energy in and gaining the momentum and accepting that everyone is terrible when they start. Everyone is terrible. I also encourage people, please don't think about roller skating as a binary. You are not bad until you are good. It's not how it works. And if you enjoy my random bits of coaching, then just give us a follow, subscribe, because I will yap about that all day long. But yeah, I would like you to think instead, and my recent very badly drawn graph I will draw better. Think about it as a continuum of experience. You are always building experience about your preferences, about where you want to skate, the style of roller skating you want to do, because at the beginning you don't know, there's so many different styles, and your experience is building and your confidence is also building. But your confidence will go up and down, because when you have very little experience, it's okay, this is my experience line, very little confidence, your confidence builds during your first session, then you have a gap. Then you stop skating, you go away, and you come back again, and you're like, oh, my body feels so wobbly. I do not understand why I feel so wobbly. And your confidence dips. And then you keep going, and it goes up again. So over time, it will be this little wobbly line, and it will gradually go up. And then you do something different, like you get new skates, or you change your wheels, or you change something else. And then your confidence may well dip again, because you've changed your experience, but you're still gaining experience, okay? So it takes a really, really long time to feel confident in all of the scenarios, because if you have never been in that scenario before, it's essentially brand new to you. I think I heard this from Estro a very long time ago, and they said your home skate park is the one that you're familiar in. You know every corner of that skate park, you know the people, you know the unspoken social rules, you understand the etiquette, you fit in there. Like, it takes time. You go to visit somewhere new, and even though it looks the same, you're like, oh, that's a ramp that's got a curve. It's 4 foot, it's the same as the one I'm used to. It will feel different, because it will link to another obstacle that will maybe be at a very slightly different angle. The coping might be buried in a different way, or it might stick up more. You won't know the people as well, and all of those other little things are things that make that new place a completely new experience. So I feel that as long as you understand, when you go somewhere different, your nervous system is going to react to it as protective, we don't feel safe here, what's going on? Then you can take steps to calm yourself and regulate your nervous system again, relax, be able to bend your knees, and actually enjoy your skate session. If you don't understand that, you end up with this really negative self-talk cycle where you're like, I can do this, why can't I do this here? I'm so annoyed with myself because my best trick is blah, 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 and I can do that over here, and I can't do it over here. So whether it's a flat ground space, whether it's a sports hall, a roller rink, whatever you've got near you, or even a car park outside, the space you go to most regularly, that you have the most affinity with, that you just understand that space and every little bit of it, you know, wobbly paving stones, the whole shebang, you are going to feel the most comfortable there, the most relaxed. You'll be able to do your best most confident stuff and probably try new things in that space compared to other spaces. Okay, so I feel that's a really important thing that I wish to impart. I want to shut my outside door because there's loads of people being really noisy. Okay. Okay. I mean, I'm very, very impressed with so many people that I meet. We're so lucky here. I mean, I know I've built this space, but in our little skate sanctuary, those people. Shh. In our little space, this is literally a really small space. I say it's really small. We can get 25 to 35 for a party in here, but it's a smaller space, and it's deliberately a smaller space because we want to build confidence and we want to build the connection between people. We want people to talk to each other, and yeah, don't do that in a bigger space. Yeah, just don't do it. So a smaller space for me is where it's at. I feel safer here. The light is glorious out here. It's kind of a weird golden colour. It feels like at 4 o'clock, 4:15. The sun is going down already. There we go. I'm going to shut the door though. And yeah, essentially, I know it takes ages to feel comfortable. Okay. I think for me, it was about 3 months. Around 3 months, I will say around 3 months. It didn't take 3 months, it took longer. Around 3 months, I was thinking, oh, it's only taken me like 10 minutes now to settle in to my skate session. And that was after I did a lot of falling over. In a box, so we've got to pack those skates up. It's my door going. Hang on, I'll be back in a second. Enjoy those skates for a second. No, typical, no one there. Okay. Right, so we're going to pack the boots up now. I've got a very specific way of packing boots up. I can't believe you're still there. What's everyone up to for Halloween, by the way? We were going to have a little roller disco, but I got here at 9 AM to let the electric man in. And unfortunately, my team member who was going to do the late shift, her Lily is really poorly. And I was like, I can't stay here till 10 PM. I'm tired. I can't do it. So we have not got a Halloween thing now, which is a shame. Yeah, okay. So I'm currently grabbing, I'm in our storeroom. This is a place that people are not invited usually. There we go. Right, as much as I do not enjoy plastic, it is essential for certain things. And I'm going to put my lovely skates in plastic. Right, you can sit there for a minute. Oh, new laces. Delightful. Oh, that sounds fun. Have a great time. I am actually completely ready for a rest. Been on the go the whole time. Right, let's put this together, shall we? It's going to go this way. This way. What have I done? I've missed it. No, I haven't. No, I haven't. trying to put it together upside down. It's not going to work, is it? And this one's going to fold in. This is going to fold in. Oi, oi, oi. Come on, Mel. I know I just lectured you about being kind to yourself and I'm being like, come on, Mel, but that's how it is. Ah, there we go. Okay, I think we are about there. So, one last check in our boots. Are we happy with these? Our final QC. QC being quality control. Are we happy with them? So it is normal for them to have like little tiny rub marks. It's part of the material. Not a lot I can do about that, but I'm happy that the wheels all rotate, that they are, yeah, toe stops tight. So I'm going to pop this in here. Let's just check the other one. Yep, wheels are on. Toe stops nice and tight. Very happy with that. I hope the person feels the same. Oh, so exciting. Okay. They fit in the box. Now, I have that piece of WIFA paper somewhere. Oh, here it is. Now, because this is the box the boots actually come in, obviously they will not go back into this box, which is why I had to build a new one, but the paper will sit in our box and just serve to kind of keep the boots a little bit separate. So I shall put that in. There you go. Lovely. And then we have, there are like small business things that we do because, you know, it's cute. Like, you get a little note. Whoever's packing your order will usually write the note. So, yes, you definitely want to order from us. I'm not telling you what I'm writing. It's personal to them. I've written semi-legibly. There we go. And I did steal this from one of our suppliers because we stock Pride socks and skater socks. Oh yeah, these are my Pride socks. I literally wear them all the time now. How funky are these? Anyway, they're very cozy in the winter. But when we get an order from Pride socks, they write on the inside of the box, and it is like the smallest extra thing, but it's so lovely that someone has taken just a minute to write little things on the inside of the box, so when you open it you're like, ah, it's really cute. So we've stolen that because why not spread a bit more joy, and we write inside the box. So on this box I'm going to write inside the lid a little message, because when they open it, like, they're not here, and this is kind of us sharing a little bit of that part with us, because if you come here and you get your skates from us, we will usually ask you if you want to have your photo taken. Look, this is our photo wall, right? All the Polaroids there are people who chose us to buy their skates from. And this is from when I had a shop in the Corn Exchange as well. There must be hundreds of people. And then there's hundreds of people that we've obviously got no photo from as well. But, you know, as you can see, I hope you can see, I flipping love my job. Sending skates to somebody just fills me with so much joy. So, this is their order. I'm going to give them, it's going to have a little tick. One of those. Free shipping, because when you spend over a certain amount, you get free shipping. 48-hour track shipping, but there we go. So I'm going to just seal this up now. Do you think I'm going to get there today? Yeah, I think I am actually. I might have to let you go, of course. Anyway, I really appreciate you hanging around for this long. Every now and again, I don't tend to warn people that I go live. I am a bit of a last minute lady and I just hop on as and when. But if this is something that you found useful, then I'm happy to come and do it again. Usually Friday will be like the live day on what, just looking for my tape and I've realised it's in my phone. For whichever platform that I might be on. I'm pretty active also on TikTok. Oh dear. Yeah, so drop us a message wherever messaging suits you, because I know you can't do it on YouTube, but wherever messaging suits you. And if you've got a question about roller skates, then feel free to ask. You know, we're here to help. We want you to get the right skates for you. If you don't want something really expensive, I'm not going to try and say you should have these. I will just probably say we're probably not for you right now, because that feels like the right thing to say. Yeah, basically, I'm not interested in selling stuff to people that they don't actually need. It doesn't feel helpful for anybody. And I do not subscribe to this overconsumption nonsense. I think it is nonsense. I think we could probably make quite a lot of money off it, but I don't agree with it, so I'm not going to do it. Like, no, landfill is dreadful, it's not helpful, so let's not do that. Please. Oh, I'm very excited for these. Okay. So, based on today, now you have some knowledge about how roller skates are built. I have got another pair to do that I'm definitely not going to do live. I'll show you that in a minute. Stick you down. Little parcel chilling away with my fabulous pair of skates in. There we go. Oh, right, enjoyed this afternoon, I have to say. Really have enjoyed it. It's been very peaceful and I feel like it's exactly what I needed some quiet skate building time. I've been doing quite a lot of coaching recently, and I really love coaching people, like especially small groups, because you see the biggest change the most quickly with small groups and individuals, but it's also quite tiring, so I needed to kind of re-energize, and that was good. So now ready, we just need to weigh and pop a postage label on. Right, this one that I'm not going to build live, definitely not today, but I'm not going to build this one today, I don't think, because I don't know, I've marked it up already, but I can't see me doing it today. This one has got a Danza plate, and this is another WIFA boot, as you can see, but this one is a much stiffer ice boot, and the process for doing it, everything is just tougher about this boot, and I know it's harder because I've done plenty of them before. So I don't know that I feel like fighting with this boot today. I might save it when I've got more energy tomorrow. Yeah, I feel like that would be the smart decision. But this plate is stunning. Oh, so stunning. This whole thing though, by the way, so this on its own is over 300 quid. That entire boot is over 300 quid. This entire boot setup is getting on for 750 quid. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. Most expensive boot I've ever built though, I've definitely put a video up about that on my YouTube channel. I think it's called the most expensivest. It was, the boot itself was worth over £2,000. Over £2,000. Oh my goodness, your skates are here. That's so exciting. Oh. That's rotten. I have no suggestions for you right now, Kenneth, apart from you gotta find your inner strength somehow and maybe connect more to an online community. But it's really hard putting yourself out there. It sounds like, obviously knowing absolutely nothing about your situation whatsoever, which is why, even though I do really enjoy the online tarot people, don't know if you watch them, really enjoy them, I'm like, how are you speaking to me so generally and you can appeal to like hundreds of thousands of people, but I know nothing about your situation? It sounds like your values are not aligned with the people that you're skating with, and maybe you're at different paths in your journey and you don't want the same things, and that is okay. And I've definitely found that too, that there are times that I think, oh, this person doesn't like me, I feel really unwelcome here, whatever it is. And then when I leave, I have to sit and reflect, and this has happened repeatedly. Like I said, I've been skating over 15 years, and I feel like finding the right space for me, it's just, you've got to keep searching if this is an activity you enjoy. And I think this is true for any activity, whether it's yoga, swimming, dance class, like whatever recreational thing, like, you know, stitch and bitch, crochet, whatever it is. You've got to find the right community that have the values that align with you as a human. And sometimes you have to look inward. It's not comfortable, but learning to roller skate is a personal growth journey, and it's not comfortable. So looking inward and thinking, what do I actually want? What are my goals? Because within the world of roller skating, you have people like me, and I'm here because I just want to feel good in my own skin, and that my body is like my home and my sanctuary, and that my self-talk is positive and lifts me and doesn't drag me down, which it has done for many years. Or maybe you are somebody that thinks, I want to be a skate performer, I want to be sponsored by a brand, and your approach would be very different. Your values would probably be very different. You'd care about different things compared to me, but outwardly, to someone who was looking, there's two people that are roller skating, and unless you spoke to them, it wouldn't be necessarily obvious why this person is like skating in this way and this person is skating in this way. So just, it's a really, really difficult thing thinking, oh, this person doesn't want the best for me, but it's something that we hear all the time, and it depends who it's coming from. People around you, especially, like, we have a big adult community here, and when you as an adult, especially you're an adult over 40, over 45, you don't, like, other people don't necessarily want you to learn to roller skate because maybe they're family and they're concerned for your safety. Maybe, but you know, that fear is going to hold you back if you let it. maybe they're family or friends or whoever in your life, and they're actually a bit jealous because you have more courage than they do. That's something they wanted to do, and it's like by you doing the thing, you're kind of showing them up. So that's something to just be mindful of, I think. But regardless of other people, the hardest thing is letting go what other people think and just doing it for you, and appreciating that you're just going to keep putting the work in, you're going to keep showing up one day at a time. If we're in a space that requires more concentration, maybe we can wear headphones for a little bit of time, or we can find a quieter time to show up somewhere. And I'm a big advocate of doing what you need to do so that your body feels safe. And if you want to know more about my like neuroscience somatic style of learning, then please feel free to get in touch. Just comment on the video or get in touch with us at the Skate Sanctuary. Drop me a message and I will look at my schedule and see if I can add in some coaching time, because it's hard, but definitely little by little, and it's building that positive reinforcement that you can do this, that you are safe when you're doing this, and it doesn't need to be 3 hours at a time. It could be 20 minutes. So I wish you all the best. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day. I cannot believe that I've been here for like an hour and 3/4. What? And that was building a pair of skates, but it was quite slow. It would normally take me less time than this to build skates, but I was talking people through it. So hopefully in the future somebody will find this useful, and hopefully you found it useful now, and I appreciate you being here for this long. Okay, I'm going. By the way, just laugh at this. This is my phone holder. Low tech is how we are in the Skate Sanctuary. All right, my loves. Bye bye.